the drive down?
Long.
Yeah.
Yes,
I ain't
traffic.
trying to Atlanta.
It's so much traffic, and then they're working on the road still, of course, so.
Sure.
Lanes are closed everywhere.
It's always. I had to go like North Georgia and Hawaii last week, and the optimal route was through Atlanta, 75 to 675, 85.
Yeah.
No. You're just rolling the dice.
Yes.
Every time you get up there. So, let me just get a little current information. Can you get your home address? What was it?
393.
All right, and your phone number's the same?
Yes.
What's that? And, North Cross, is that North Atlanta?
It is.
Okay. And where are you working at this is?
Peachtree High School in Gwinnett County.
Peachtree?
Ridge.
What do you do there?
A teacher of computer science.
Oh, cool. All right. And let's see. That's okay. Now, Mr. Benton, are y'all still together? No? Do you know where he's currently residing?
I don't, but I'm pretty sure he's in the same spot.
Somewhere in the Atlanta area? Okay. That's what I thought. I'm just trying to make sure I have updated information. So, I don't know if you knew or not, but Sergeant Collins, who originally investigated the death of your child, was he's no longer with the department. So, the case has been just kind of, he had done almost the entire investigation, but at some point, we've just been waiting on medical examiner report, which for some reason took an extraordinarily long amount of time. I've never had one take this long, so that's why I contacted you to let you know kind of that it was finished. We had some discussion about the case and where we go from here, and I just kind of wanted to bring in further that. And I think y'all already used some of this because Sergeant Collins had told you, but until we actually get an official report from the medical examiner for the GPI, then that's what we have to go by. So I'll just go through and read some of this to you. Now this part is from, let's see, Amy Goodwin, which is GBI. So they've sent this report to the coroner, which is Danny Galpin, in reference to Karter. This was a full autopsy done. The immediate cause of death was blunt impact injuries of the abdomen with a laceration of the liver. They deemed the manner of death to be a homicide. And injuries would have occurred by the child receiving blunt impact trauma to the abdomen. Okay, and that was signed off in September of this year. They've got a lot of just report stuff that's just, some of it's just medical terminology and stuff, weights and different things. And, let's see if I can get down here. Under the opinion, now this is the opinion of the medical examiner who performed the autopsy. I'll read it. It says, this 2-year, 10-month-old black male child, Karter Ambrose, died of blunt impact injuries to his abdomen. Karter was the last known alive on Tuesday, November 17, 2020, at approximately 30 hours. The mother reports that the child had thrown up in his bed around 0200 and told his mother that his stomach had hurt. The mother left the child in the care of her boyfriend at approximately 7:15. The boyfriend called the mother at approximately 8:30 and said that Karter was having trouble breathing and going in and out of consciousness. He had given the child a breathing treatment, but it didn't work. The mother said to take Karter to his pediatrician, which was located nearby. On arrival, he was unresponsive, and the doctor administered CPR. The nurses called for EMS. This then was transported to the hospital, where resuscitative measures continued but unsuccessful. Further information is contained in the report. The autopsy revealed blunt impact injuries of the head and torso. Most significant injuries were multiple contusions of the abdomen and a liver laceration, which resulted in bleeding into the soft tissue and abdominal cavity. Based on the information known, the manner of death is classified as a homicide. If any, so the cause of death. So that's kind of
Which I know, we've been in contact with the coroner.
okay.
My question would be, the blunt force, was that from CPR?
No, because that's why he went into distress. His abdomen was full of blood, and even if if you had a layperson that was pushing someone's chest, these were doctors and nurses that, well, I think the doctor himself was performing the CPR. Mm-hmm. So you have a medical professional who's doing that, but no.
There's just no way. There's literally just no way. Because my son has been multiple places before this passing, all of which he showed no sign of hurting, no sign of anything until a literal, my stomach hurts. And that's the last thing, and it wasn't even my stomach hurts and he's in pain. It was, Mommy, my stomach hurts.
But yeah, he started having the stomach pain and the vomiting started happening Sunday night too.
Correct. No, Sunday night
Yeah.
is when I asked him. He looked like he wasn't feeling well.
Okay.
Which that wasn't something that it was dramatic because of the time of year is when he normally has breathing issues, and that's what to me it seemed like he was just not feeling well, not
Right.
anything.
But on Sunday night he did complain of stomach hurting, and then continued through Monday off and on was vomiting some, correct?
Monday was when I was at work in Warren Robins.
Right.
I literally went home and he was asleep on the couch. That's when I saw throw up on the floor. At the time I didn't know it was throw up because it just looked like his juice that he had been drinking.
But now, if he was that carpet or like
Carpet. It's orange juice.
Did Kianna?
Mm-hmm.
Did he have not seen that?
Yes. He was sleeping on the couch. I don't know if he saw it on the floor or whatever, but me.
I just feel if my wife came home when my kids were throwing on the floor and they cleaned it up, I'd be like, in trouble, kind of thing.
I came in. He's on the couch sleeping. I go over to check on him, kiss him, just to see if he's fine. I look over. I see blood on the floor. Well, from what I suspected, juice.
Yeah.
Because he had his cup, his sippy cup. Karter is usually known for throwing the juice around or the cup around. So my immediate thought is he threw his cup.
Juice just went everywhere. But then you later figured out it was
later, as in when I went back to work and I came back home, there was also juice on the couch. Which then I said, I then cooked dinner. I also bathed him. In the bath was when I was washing his butt, and he was complaining about his bottom area hurting.
Like his butt or like his stomach?
Like his...
Or lower abdominal?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, really his balls.
Okay.
And he had done that a week before. But Nothing else. The next thing I know was the day that he passed away. That night before, I had put him in his bed because of the stomach hurting. He had ate, we watched a movie, he danced, literally nothing, until I went back in the room and I checked on him that night. And I saw that he had threw up in the bed.
Okay.
That was the first alarming thing to me.
Right.
Nothing else throughout the entire day, even when I got back home. Nothing else would even tell you that this child was in pain. He was not acting any kind of way, which is why it was such a... If his stomach had been hurting to the point where he would make any kind of movement to let me know that he was in that much pain, I lived next door to...
Well, and realistically, I don't know, I'm not an expert on those kind of injuries. I've been working in this office for almost 30 years, so I've seen a lot of stuff and, had a lot of investigations. I don't know how much pain he would have been in. If there was some impact to his abdomen that caused a liver to start bleeding, it could have just been slowly bleeding. I don't know that, maybe that's something that just over time got worse, and eventually that's what happened. He got to the point where, he was unconscious.
And that's what is so confusing about this entire thing.
But now, when we talk to the medical examiners, and they're giving us a window of, 24, 48 hours when the injury could have occurred. So we're looking at something in that time frame, and realistically, I know from looking back at Sergeant Collins' report that, I know you picked him up from daycare on Friday, so that's, we're talking almost 4 days earlier. You went to the grandfather's Saturday for a few hours, right?
Basically the whole day, because I went over there and I cooked for my grandfather, and Karter was in the bed sleeping.
But he was with you that whole time, correct?
Correct. He was right there with me.
Right there with you. So then we have Sunday, which is all day with you, and then later that afternoon, Kianna? Is that how you say it?
Kianna came down
Later this afternoon around 5,
mm-hmm.
and then he was there that night,
Mm-hmm.
and was there all day Monday. Now, it's my understanding that you contacted the child's father on Monday and asked him to watch him because he was sick.
Because he was not feeling well.
Right.
Correct.
He was sick, and
I had to go to work.
And apparently he was unable to. So I guess that's why Kianna just stayed over.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So.
And the reason being is because my child's father is a firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew, number one, we're very familiar with Karter around that time of year, having issues. And number two, if he could be with anybody, I wouldn't leave him with someone that's not near him.
Sure.
Or someone close to him.
Yeah, I understand.
So that's why none of this makes sense. I know for a fact it didn't happen within the last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday before, or the Monday before he passed.
Well, you don't know if you're not there. So when you're working, you're not there. You can't say something didn't happen. And I know from reading the other stuff that you think Kianna has nothing to do with this. And again, I don't know. I'm just doing the follow-up on this, okay? And I'm not here to rehash the whole case. Y'all already discussed it in other sessions. But, me as someone who's seen a lot of these cases, not necessarily this particular kind, but in general, I guess my question, from your end would have been, as the mom, why did you wait so long if he was sick and you were used to taking him to the doctor, if he'd been complaining like for a day and a half about, on and off about his stomach and throwing up at least 4 times.
Here's why. Because Karter is used to, for whatever reason, when he was first born, he would throw up for milk.
Okay.
He's had multiple situations where he'll throw up.
But that's not unusual for children who are on formula to throw up.
Correct.
That's...
However, Karter also, a couple weeks prior to this, and multiple times, would have random reactions to foods, anything, and every time I take him to the doctor, they just throw him on a steroid. Send us on our way.
Okay.
if it would have gotten over to a 24-hour period to where he was actually complaining and still complaining about it, yes, I would have taken him to the doctor. But that's the reason why this doesn't make sense to me, that it couldn't have happened in that time frame. Because...
Well, but then my question to you is that if on Sunday night was his first time he was really complaining, saying he was hurting, and now Tuesday morning, you woke up in the middle of the night, early morning, and he's thrown up again, and you put him in the bed.
Well, that's not reason for calling his dad.
But that you called him Monday, right?
Correct.
Okay, but
Sunday night and Monday morning.
But you said something to the effect of it had been more than 24 hours, but it had been more than 24 hours.
Sunday was the first time that he had ever said anything, or not even really say anything, but started to act as if he was not himself.
Okay. And I get that, but we're at Tuesday morning, you leave for work.
Correct.
So we're
Tuesday morning.
We're over a day. You go from Sunday night, Monday night, now we're Tuesday morning, and you know he's still sick, and y'all give me breathing treatments, and
we gave him one breathing.
the one treatment, which I think that was when he was toward the end, and then of course he had to rush him to the pediatrician's office at that point. But,
correct.
I'm just asking, was there? Did you just not think he was that sick, or
A stomachache is not alarming to me,
okay.
which is why my initial thought was check his breathing, because that's his normal issues.
But he never had problems with the breathing.
We've been at NICU 3 times.
No, I'm talking about during this time.
During this time, I did not know. That's just my first immediate, let me check his breathing because of the time of year, number one, and because of his history. He's continuously in the doctor's office for breathing issues. So that was my first thought. With a stomachache, he's had multiple stomachaches before. So that's why I'm saying, if it was something to where he was crouching over or can't walk or not running around laughing and smiling, of course I would have taken him to the doctor. I go there more times than not. I'm sure they'll tell you. However, it wasn't that. It was literally, Mommy, my stomach hurts, and laying on me. Do you want to go to bed? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go lay down. That's it. And so for me, that's where my pain is, because I have no idea what could have happened to my child and when it could have happened.
Do you think now, looking back, if you had taken him Monday or taken him to the ER, that and he was bleeding internally, that maybe something could have been found on that?
I don't know. And here's why. Because any other time I take him to the doctor for the breathing, we'd be brushed off. Send him a steroid, send him home. We've been to a pulmonologist. Oh, he doesn't.
But this isn't breathing. This is abdominal pain and throwing up.
This is a stomach ache to me, not abdominal pain. This is.
Okay, well, it's hard to qualify, but I understand what you're saying.
If he came to me and said, and was crying, or acting as if he's just literally, from what you're telling me, he should be in the most pain.
Again, I don't know. I don't know how that reflects. But if, and I'm just giving you a scenario. I have no idea. If you leave for work at Monday at 7 o'clock, mm-hmm. and at 9 o'clock something happens, and 3 hours later you come home for lunch,
and he's
asleep, and
well, that's
maybe he's not in pain. Maybe he was, there was some injury there, and he bled, and then continued to bleed until Tuesday. But there's no way the internal organ can get lacerated.
There's no way.
Right. It just can't happen.
So
does this change any concerns you have
about
Kianna?
I know Kianna as a person. I know who he is, and I know how he is with kids, and especially with my child. He's in the process of trying to get custody of his own, who he's
understand that, but you know,
So,
sometimes good people make mistakes and do bad things.
sure,
I mean, it does happen.
sure.
And I will tell you, as from my experience, that when you have a child that's going through potty training issues, they're kind of in that transition where sometimes they have an accident or they do that. I think there was some discussion about he peed on himself some, and a few times during this issue, through this investigation, that sometimes those people get frustrated and that can make them act out angrily toward a child during the potty training.
And then,
I'm not saying you did.
no,
I'm just saying that somebody else could.
I understand what you're saying, and if that's the case, then do whatever you need to do. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I know for a fact that in my care, nothing happened to my child. I know for a fact that when I got home, my child was not acting as if anything had happened to him or if anybody beat him up. And in my mind, because of the relationship that I have with my child and because of previous incidents where even if a child hit him or if someone told him something that he didn't want to do, he'd run to me and immediately tell me.
Let me ask you this. If Karter had been with his dad that weekend, only his dad, no one else, no girlfriend, no grandparents' house, he stayed with his dad all weekend and then had passed just like he did on Tuesday morning. And they come back with this report that says blunt force trauma, lacerated liver, bled internally. What would you think then? Would you say just because he's a good person he couldn't have done it?
I had the same questions because of who he is as a person.
Right.
I don't know. I can't speak on who people are if I have never seen them in that way.
Sure.
So no, I would not have felt any differently about this situation.
So you think,
I know
so your feelings are based on the fact that
of how I know the person.
the person, okay. And I assume how you've seen them interact with
How
your
I've
child.
seen them interact with my child. Neither one of them.
But
I
you do understand that in and of itself is not enough to clear a person.
Oh, of course.
Because if we say Kianna didn't have any part in this, then the only person is you. And you're saying adamantly you didn't do it.
Let's be clear. There is no way in the world that I would hurt my child, and I work with kids all day. That's me. So
But you're
I don't care.
saying if Kianna did this, he should be punished.
Yeah. That's not even a question.
So
I don't care.
But I guess I'm a little confused from the standpoint of if you were the only person there,
If I was the only person.
then we would all be talking to you. But since you know there was only one other person that was there, how can
It's
you?
hard for me to come to a conclusion about someone that I've never seen. That to me that's like false accusations. I don't want to be a part of that. If he did, hold him accountable. Do whatever you gotta do. I don't care. It's my child. At this point, it's me and my child against everybody else. I don't care. But what I'm saying is that what I know is what I said. And if he knows anything, and if he feels if he didn't reveal everything, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't care. Because I just want to know what happened to my son, who did it, and I want that person held responsible. But I know for a doggone fact it didn't happen in my care.
Okay.
So,
Well,
I
I guess what we're looking at as far as the case goes, and ultimately the district attorney's office makes the decision on who's charged and how they're charged. But you know, if he's charged with a crime of murder or involuntary manslaughter or something like that, you know, that'll be something that the DA decides. But you have to understand also as a parent and as a caretaker, you bear some responsibility in the fact that you are the parent who's supposed to care for him, and knew he was sick, and he didn't get medical treatment or get checked, and therefore wound up dying as well. So there are
sick. It annoys me because it's almost as if I wouldn't have taken those steps.
I understand, and you know what? Hindsight's 20/20. we can all look back and say we should have done something different, or maybe you say you should.
I shouldn't have, because I would have done the exact same thing, because it literally, this child sang, danced, smiled, laughed, everything with me that night before. So for me, my immediate thought, because I know my child, I will be looking for all the signs.
Okay, but what I'm telling you is, from a legal standpoint, if the child had some presentment of some type of issue or problem that could have resulted in him getting medical treatment, and that was not done or being checked, then you could also have an issue of legal responsibility as well.
So would you take your child to the hospital when they asked you for a stomach ache, or said they had stomach ache? Would that be your first?
Well, it wasn't the first time. I'm not saying it's Sunday night just because he says he's has some issues or throws up that you immediately have to go. But you got Sunday, you got Monday night, you got Tuesday morning. So
Tuesday morning, nothing was going on with him. Tuesday morning.
When you said you woke up and he had vomited all over himself.
That was in the middle of the night.
But when I say Tuesday morning, I was told it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. So
when I went to check on him, he had thrown up in the bed.
Which
is why I picked him up.
And I don't want to get argumentative with you, but I'm just trying to explain to you where we're at. Where we're at legally, okay? That you could bear some legal responsibility from the fact that he wasn't given care and he obviously passed from injuries that appeared to be during that time. He had sustained injuries. Okay. So I don't know that will happen, but that's certainly something.
It certainly won't. That's why I have an attorney.
The attorney can't keep you from getting charged with a crime.
But what I'm telling you is, now you're irritating me.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to irritate you.
Because at this point, it's almost as if, and it has been almost as if I'm a bad mother. And no one has asked about my reputation as a mother, as a teacher, as someone who's literally mentored kids since I was in 12th grade with this police department. So I don't care.
When I read through the report, they did ask about you.
Okay. And I don't care. At the end of the day, everyone around me knows I would do anything for my child. I will protect my child from my own family. If anyone did anything that I did not like, for instance, when my mother herself did not take his breathing issues as if it was a serious thing, she no longer got to watch him. So at this point, that's what I'm trying to tell you. If any indication, he would have been removed.
Well, I believe you on that. I'm not saying you.
As a single mom, what was I supposed to do when I asked his father to get him and take care of him?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if you can take off work. That's what I think.
And that's my point. Because that whole week, I was already supposed to be home. It's the end of towards holidays. You only get a certain amount of days. I was actually in the middle of switching jobs. So I was already done that rest of the week, which is why I didn't take off and which is why I offered or asked his father to get him for that day, because I was going to be off the rest of the week anyway. So, with that being said, I did everything I knew how to do and what to do. As far as this investigation goes, I don't care what you do with Kianna. But that's who seems like we need to be talking to. Because at the end of the day, I walked in my house, I saw throw on my, or juice on my floor, whatever it was, and I immediately thought, this is weird. But it didn't strike me to be like, oh my God, let me take my son to the hospital. I've been through many situations where he almost did not make it because of his breathing. So I know that it's serious with my child. And I know how my child acts when it's serious.
But apparently this time you were wrong. Correct?
Weird.
Your son passed away.
My son passed away, yes.
Apparently the wrong decision was made at some point.
Ooh, Jesus.
Well, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Well,
I just need a copy of everything that you have, the medical reports I've been sending.
I can't give you anything because it's still an open, ongoing investigation. At some point when that's closed, then you can get a copy of whatever